What's up, guys? And today is January 2nd, 2024, and exactly 1 year from tomorrow, the next Congress will be sworn in. The 119th Congress will be sworn in on January 3rd, 2025. So I figured since we did our presidential predictions yesterday, we could do our 2024 Senate predictions today. So this year, the Class 1 Senate seats are all up for re-election, and the Class 1 Senate map is heavily in favor of the Republicans. So here's our current Senate makeup as it stands right now. Surprisingly, so it's 51-49, and surprisingly, after this next election, we could see a situation where Wisconsin, my home state, is the only state left with a split of one Democrat and one Republican senator. But I'm not going to say any more because we're going to save that for the predictions. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys right now, I think that the Republicans are going to flip the Senate because this map, it's just impossible to not do it. They would have to be trying to lose. So I guess in this prediction video, it's not whether or not the Republicans will win it. It's just, I guess we're going to do how much will they win it by and what states are they going to win. Now, if we use 2018 as an indicator, this was the last time the Class 1 map was up for election. And Republicans did fairly well in a year that was not good for Republicans. 2018 was the Democrat wave year, and they were able to flip North Dakota. They were able to flip Indiana, Missouri. So they were able to flip popular Democratic incumbent seats in a Democratic wave year. And they got close. They got real close in West Virginia. They got real close in Montana. Ohio, not so much, but it was still in play. This time around, though, 2018 was a midterm year. This time it's a presidential election year, which means turnout's going to be up, and you have to face reality that the presidential candidate, the top of the ticket, is going to carry the Senate candidates over the finish line with them. So if we just look at the two most, so we can already count West Virginia out. There's no way in hell that a Republican is going to lose there now that Manchin's not running. So if we just examine Ohio and Montana. So Montana in the 2018 Senate election, the Republican came within 3 points. How did Trump do in Montana? Around 16-point victory, 343,000 votes. So I don't see a situation where Trump gets over 300,000 votes in a 16-point margin, but then he doesn't carry the Republican over the finish line with him. Same thing in Ohio. So Trump won Ohio twice by 8 points. And it looks like this was, so Brown, the incumbent, did fairly well, we got to be honest, so about 8 points. But Trump, on the other hand, he crushed Biden in what used to be a swing state. So even if it's not the same margin, like even if the Senate candidate underperforms Trump, I still see him winning by at least 4 or 5 points. And if we look at the 2024 consensus, most people are saying these are just straight up toss-up states. I would say I would agree with that more with Ohio and Arizona, but I definitely think Montana we could probably characterize as a lean, if not likely, Republican state at this time. And the Wall Street Journal has released its ratings, and the Republicans have a pretty high ceiling with 57 seats, and regardless of like their worst performance, they're still it'll be a tie unless Biden wins and Kamala Harris is the tie-breaking vote. And we look at some of the polls. Cruz, I'm not even talking about. I know a lot of people are talking about Texas, but in the presidential election year, it's not going to be close. Kari Lake up 6, even though she's not like the most popular candidate. I agree. We probably could have found somebody better. But up 6, that's a good sign. And you got to take into account that Sinema's going to split the Democratic vote. So if anything, I would actually say Arizona is going to be more Republican than Montana as it stands right now. And most of it's just out of Arizona. But the Senate is going to be the second most important thing to watch on election night besides the presidential election. People don't realize the House and the Senate are not equal bodies. The Senate is vastly more powerful than the House of Representatives. The Senate has exclusive powers that the House doesn't. The Senate has the power to ratify treaties. The Senate has the exclusive power of confirming judges and justices to the federal courts and the Supreme Court. The Senate plays a role in confirming a lot of workers within the federal government. It directly confirms higher up ranking officials within the military. The Senate has power over military promotions. So, and the Senate has the power to vote for the vice president in the event of a tie in the Electoral College. So, the Senate is definitely more important than the House. So, we could have a situation where, in the fall, the Democrats flip back the House, but the Republicans take the Senate and the White House, and that would be the better scenario if the Republicans could only have one. You always want the Senate because the third branch of government, the judiciary, depends on the Senate. So we can go ahead and start our prediction right now, and we can call all these safe blue states, which I characterize safe states as a win of more than 10 percentage points or more. So Washington, California, yeah, like I said, this isn't a great map for Democrats. So probably New York, Vermont, all of these East Coast states. And then I guess we can do the safe Republican states. So Wyoming, North Dakota, both of the elections in Nebraska. Utah, Mitt Romney's done there. So we're going to get a true conservative there. Mississippi, Tennessee, West Virginia, Indiana, Missouri. So now we can do the likely states, which I characterize likely states as more than 5% but less than 10. So probably Minnesota, New Mexico. These are states nobody's really debating. They're not really in play. Virginia, I guess we could say it's likely. I'm on the edge of putting it in likely and lean. And so yeah, that's where we stand with that. I'm going to take a look again at so Maine and Vermont and Arizona all have independents. So we have to take that into consideration. Okay, let's get back. So now we can do the lean states. So right off the bat, my home state of Wisconsin. I know a lot of people might give me some crap for this, but I know my state pretty well. And even though I have right now Wisconsin going for Trump in my presidential elections prediction, Wisconsin is funny and it has a way of splitting. Wisconsin voters split their ticket more than any other voters in the country. This past midterm, the 2022 midterm, on the same ballot that people voted for Democrat Governor Tony Evers, they also vote for Senate Republican incumbent Ron Johnson. Wisconsin voters tend to vote for incumbents, so I could definitely see a situation where Trump wins the state narrowly on the presidential race, and then Tammy Baldwin, incumbent senator, also wins on the same ballot. I know it's weird, but Wisconsin voters are weird. Michigan, again, incumbent senator in what we consider to be a lean blue state. Even if Trump does squeak out a victory, I could see them splitting their ticket as a kind of a check on Donald Trump, because I don't think they necessarily love him, but Joe Biden's just so unpopular. Same story in Pennsylvania. Keep in mind, Pennsylvania, this is the state that this past midterm, 2022 midterm, they voted for a Senate candidate that couldn't even talk. He got up on stage for the debate and couldn't even talk. Absolute disaster. So that shows you where Pennsylvania is headed. So now we can characterize some of the lean red states. So Ohio, like I said before, presidential election year, Donald Trump's going to carry the Senate candidate over the finish line with him. I don't know who that's going to be yet, but Ohio is becoming increasingly conservative over the last few elections, and that's just what I think is going to happen there. And then Montana, like I said, Trump won it by about 16 points. So even though the Democrat Senate candidate there is the incumbent, I still think Montana could be flipped. And I guess I don't know what I'm doing here, because we could have characterized Texas and Florida as likely. Ted Cruz isn't going to lose. I know it came within 3 in 2018, but again, presidential election year, all these candidates are going to ride Trump's coattails. So now we are left, well, I guess we can characterize Maine. All right, so now we're left with Arizona and Nevada. 2022, Adam Laxalt came so close. It was razor thin. A snowstorm up in Washoe County is what made the difference. And in my presidential election video, I have Trump narrowly carrying Nevada. The state's been trending to the right for the last 3 election cycles. They just elected a Republican governor. So I could see Nevada narrowly electing a Republican senator by a tilt margin. Tilt margin is less than 1%. And then Arizona, Kari Lake, with Sinema and the Democrat candidate splitting the vote, I could see Kari Lake winning by less than 5, maybe around 3 or 4 points on the same ballot as Donald Trump. So you guys, that is how I see things going as of today, as of January 2nd, 2024. Republicans flipping back the Senate 54-45. So I hope you guys enjoyed my prediction video. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think, and if you disagree with me on anything. And stay tuned for more videos. I'll see you guys all in the next video.